Hey guys, it's Joe and I'm back with another video. Now, about 5 months ago, I did a video on Lab Muffin Beauty and her beef with the scamming, science-washing skincare brand, Matter of Fact. Now, that video was mostly about her beef, but I did hint at a personal situation she had with a previous friend in that video. Let's watch here. I'm gonna give a hint to the person that people are speculating she's talking about. His name allegedly rhymes with salamander.
You will see. Everything in the dark comes to the light. That's all I gotta say.
Well, everything does come to light because, as always, I was right.
Maybe I know it all.
I don't think anybody knows it all.
Well, I may know it all. So if you would like to know any of it all, come to me and I'll tell you.
That person was Julian, aka Scamander, on social media. And he's kicking off the drama these days with a video. Now, despite me being blocked by Julian on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook, Grindr, ChristianMingle.com, FarmersMeetingFarmers.com, and every other social media platform, I was still able to find his video and record it for your viewing pleasure. So let's take a look to see why he is finally speaking out right now against Lab Muffin, and let's kind of see what's really going on.
For the past few months, I've stayed silent while a prominent skincare content creator posted several disparaging comments about me and my work. Let's talk about it. I'm incredibly proud of all of my accomplishments since starting this page, my magnum opus, the sunscreen database, talking about clinical trials behind cosmetic ingredients, and now being able to combine my training in biomass stats and clinical trials, my history as an educator, and my love for the beauty industry in my professional work. Unfortunately, there are people in our community who are not as happy about these accomplishments and have used their online platform to attack and discredit me for taking a job that I'm extremely excited about. For the past several months, I've been publicly disparaged and insulted by Dr. Michelle Wong, aka Lab Muffin Beauty Science. While we've had our share of private disagreements, she's taken her issues with me onto my public pages as well as other people's pages, to an extent that, as far as I'm concerned, amounts to bullying. One instance of this was on an ad that I did for Paula's Choice on Twitter, where I was debunking some common sunscreen myths and included academic references for each of the claims. She commented this on the thread and then followed it up with this, implying she is, first of all, the only one allowed to use the phrasing "a little goes a long way" as bad advice with sunscreen, even though this is a sentiment that I've been told several times by brands in my sunscreen reviews. Additionally, she claims in this tweet that her original contribution was that UV filters absorb UV and convert it into heat. However, this fact about the mechanism of action of sunscreen filters is common knowledge in the cosmetic chemistry field and is stated in the book Principles and Practices of Photoprotection, published in 2016, and references articles on the topic from as early as 1997. Most recently, she posted this comment on another creator's reel, implying that apparently I have a history of misinterpreting ingredient data and that I'm basically unqualified to do my job. Now, to be clear, I'm not saying I've never made any mistakes, but my work involves interpreting the clinical evidence behind ingredients, coming up with clinical trials for products, and educating about all of the above. I have a PhD in biomath and stats. I have studied clinical trials for over 6 years, and I have been an educator for almost a decade. To have my experience, education, and expertise invalidated by comments like this is not something I'm willing to tolerate, and I'm not too proud to admit that it hurt. I've worked very hard to get where I am, and I'm more than qualified to do what I do. I have the utmost respect for Dr. Wong as a science communicator who has interpreted cosmetic and sunscreen research for consumers, but after months of taking the high road, I am tired of turning the other cheek and I'm speaking up because someone has to. Bullying other creators because you don't like them or what they do, or because you don't support their professional goals or decisions, has no place in our community. I will not tolerate it, and no one else should have to either.
Well, alright then. Julian spoke, he said what he said. I think it's really interesting that this is the first time he's spoken publicly about this situation in 5 months. Definitely keep that in mind as you watch the rest of this video. I think it was categorically incorrect for Michelle to basically attack him on his sponsored post with Paula's Choice. You know, no one's allowed to use the phrase "a little goes a long way" in terms of the myth with using sunscreen. I like Lab Muffin a lot, like I'm a big fan of hers, but that makes her look like a fucking egomaniac.
I hate to say that, but it's true.
And I don't think it's a really good look. When you read her response later on, I think you will come to the conclusion that she has a lot of valid reasons why she's upset with Scamander. However, I don't think this is a legit reason to be upset, and to accuse him of plagiarizing, I think is the wrong, weird hill to die on. If you're Michelle, that's super weird to me, sorry. The other point about the mineral sunscreens and all the other fighting they're doing in terms of the science, that's above my IQ. So I'm not qualified to even comment on that aspect of their beef. But I just think that it's weird that Michelle is engaging with him, and there's a gnat here, sorry. I think it's weird that Michelle is engaging with him publicly when they've already had these disagreements privately. They haven't come to any resolution, and so I think the correct thing for her to do would have been to move on. However, she's incapable of doing that, and we're all human, we're not robots, so I get that she's still frustrated. But I think the whole egging him on and picking, poking, and prodding wasn't really the right move for her to do. Now, is this bullying?
Bitch, absolutely fucking not.
Absolutely not. I'm sorry, I can't get behind that narrative of it being bullying. I think that posting on his sponsored post was ridiculous. I think that shading him, subtweeting him on another post was also pretty shady. However, I looked on his Instagram post and I saw the influencers that are saying, "Oh my God, this is bullying. This is that. Oh my God, you're a victim." Or blah blah blah, all that stuff. Listen, those were the same influencers that subtweet me. Okay, quiet as it's kept. Okay, so am I being bullied for being subtweeted on social media? No. Shut the F up, honestly. I mean, this whole bullying thing, I can't get behind it. I'm sorry. Just because you're being criticized for your decisions to align with a scammy sounding company, it's not bullying. I'm sorry, it's being held accountable and being challenged. And just because you're challenged does not equate to bullying. I think Julian is using this word bullying in order to silence his critics and to silence Michelle, because she just wants to attack him and she wants to get a rise out of him. However, Michelle will not be silenced because I think that she really wants to just fight with him. The reason I say that Michelle just wants to fight with Julian is because not even 24 hours later, she comes out with this tweet thread with all these receipts. It just seemed a little calculated to me that she had all this ammunition ready to go. Now, I'm a little hypocritical by saying that and judging her, because in my career here on YouTube, I always have receipts on people, okay? I keep a receipt printed and ready to send in the mail at all times. So I didn't think it was strange, but it was a little unhinged and definitely very emotional what she did with those 50 tweets. We're not gonna go over all 50 tweets because there is just so much. But we're gonna go over a couple of the most convincing tweets that she did. Now, the most convincing one, in my opinion, was in reference to her loyalty to him as a friend. And she talks about her history with him, and she goes over some posts where she has shouted him out, supported him, promoted him on her page, which has thus led to a lot of engagement for him, a lot of followership for him, and a lot of success for him. And she illustrates this pretty easily. One thing about Michelle, she's gonna come with you with some receipts. Okay, one thing about her, she's gonna print a receipt and she's gonna deliver it to you. Now, I do think the core of Michelle's issues revolves around the next couple tweets that we're gonna talk about. The first one is about the abusive language that she allegedly received courtesy of Matter of Fact, and how she assumed that Julian was connected. Now, let's read this next tweet together, because I think it's the most important tweet out of the unhinged 50 tweets that she made. She says, "The Matter of Fact situation was very stressful, and I still haven't had an apology. It hurt me deeply that Julian was already being onboarded with the MOF team at the time, so he was in a position to influence them to reach out and apologize. But that never happened. There's also a good chance he was working alongside whoever posted those abusive comments when planning MOF's response." Now, what is the situation really about? Any guesses in the comment section? What is this really about? I think it's about friendship and how difficult it is to navigate as influencers. Both of them were offered a job prospect with MOF. One of them got the job, and for whatever reason, arguments can be made about why this happened. The other person didn't get that job. didn't follow through with being hired.
Clap if you understand what I'm saying.
Well, Julian was hired, and then what preceded was this beef between Michelle and MOF. And my assumption is that when that happened, Michelle really wanted some type of loyalty from her good friend, Julian. And, you know, she was the person that helped him out. She helped him gain some followers. Now, I'm not saying that she's responsible for his success, because I think that's outrageous. However, I think that she's illustrated pretty firmly that she was a very good friend, a very supportive friend of him. And I think that she really expected that in return throughout this specific situation with MOF. Now, while I firmly believe that MOF is a shady company, allegedly, I have some sympathy for the position that Julian is in, especially considering that this is a dream opportunity for him. And I think Michelle said it herself that she doesn't think that Julian wrote the comments, the abusive language. So is it actually fair for Michelle to have such high expectations from Julian as her friend? Did she want him to quit the job? Did she want him to tell matter of fact, don't say bad things about my friend? I don't understand what she actually wanted him to do in that situation. I'm not sure. Overall, I think after digesting the beef over the last couple of days, I'm sitting pretty much 65% on Michelle's side and then 35% on Julian's side. I completely understand why Michelle is upset. I get it. Is he a shady friend who turned his back on his good friend who supported him, uplifted him, and potentially gave him opportunities? I don't know. Maybe so. Who's to judge? But Michelle makes a pretty convincing case that he is that person who just happens to work for a company that spends its time misinforming customers. Allegedly, of course. So she makes a pretty convincing case. However, I think Julian did the mature, professional, and responsible thing. He didn't speak about it. He let it go. He didn't make it a huge issue on social media. I think they spoke about it privately. It was not resolved, and he just left it alone. He moved on. He wanted this to go away. And I think that if you're in this position, that was probably the most professional thing to do, especially considering that they were once friends. I think it's crazy that Michelle has been poking and prodding him and trying to get a response out of him. And now she's caused this shitstorm where people are now picking sides and, trashing both of them and saying some pretty hurtful things about each other. I mean, they used to be friends. And so it's a pretty sad situation that we're currently in, watching this beef unfold. She didn't get an apology from him 5 months ago. I get it. She's pissed off about that. I'd be upset about it too. But I don't think her current behavior is going to elicit an apology from him now. So I'm not sure what the point of all of this is. And I totally respect Julian's right to defend himself in that video after he's been holding things back for so long. But let me know what you think in the comment section. Are you team Michelle? Press the number 1 in the comment section if you're team Michelle. Or are you team Julian? Press the number 2 in the comment section if you're team Julian. And explain why. Be respectful in the comment section. We're not going to be nasty and vicious in the comment section because I will call you out. I don't do that whole viciousness in my comment section. Also, if there are any influencers in my comment section that are brave enough to share their opinions, I would love to know, how do you maintain positive working relationships with other influencers? What are the struggles you tend to have maintaining friendships with other influencers? I'm really interested in all of the above. So don't forget to like this video or you're going to have contact dermatitis all over your face. Have a good one, guys. Bye.